What's up everyone, Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here. I had more requests recently to cover more cinema cameras, to get more into video things as well, not just do photography. And perfect timing because the Canon C200 has been announced. So this isn't a photography video, this is about a cinema and actual video camera. The C200 is interesting because a lot of people wanted an entry-level video camera, not a DSLR with video options. The C100, the C100 Mark II were very affordable options to get into the game, but a lot of people started saying, well, the C100 Mark II has a lot of the same things that a Canon DSLR has for the most part, and it just seems a little overpriced. Mind you, that's flawed thinking. These are actual video cameras, but with the C200, it's definitely a clear step up for a lot of the cinema line, especially in the more entry-level under $10,000 cameras. And if you got to think, something like this camera under $10,000 is actually a very affordable price if you're in the business. So to start off, the C200 will be $7,500. Of course, that's US. And there is a option B called the C200B, which is a stripped down version of the C200. And that essentially takes off the 4-inch rotating touchscreen, the handle, and a couple other little inputs, and takes away the viewfinder as well, and that is $6,000. So that's if you have something that's ready to go, you want to put it in a rig or something like that, you could go from there and save yourself about $1,500. So those are the two options, but I would guess if you're into this, you're going to get the actual C200. Let this run a little bit as I talk about some things. Has a super 35mm sensor, as this is their actual cinema line of camera. Dual Digix DV6 processors, so it's going to be very fast as it is working with dual pixel AF, and that is huge. The other thing that you saw right there was the 4-inch fully rotatable touchscreen LCD, which is awesome because you can bring it down, you can look at yourself, but if you wanted to maybe film yourself or something like that, you could turn it around and film yourself on there. It has tap to focus as well, which will work with the dual pixel AF, so that's obviously a big thing, and keep going from there. It has 2 SD card slots and 1 CFast slot. I'll cover a lot more of that in a second, and how that works and how that records and everything. It's very important to know. But the big thing was this getting to be 4K video, DCI, and UHD. Also, this gives 13 stops of dynamic range. It's saying ISO expandable 100 to 102,400, but if you're ever using something like that, that's obviously not going to be a thing. So you're getting a lot with this thing right here. 8.85 megapixels CMOS. Same battery though as the C300 Mark II. So if you want something, I don't know. So it's already something that's out there. So it's out there. 2 XLR inputs, so that's already on body and on camera. And it also has Canon RAW Lite, which also there's other options for C-Log, C-Log 2, C-Log 3. And then there's MP4 and MP4 proxy recording at 2K. So that way, as you're shooting 4K, you can also be dumping 2K proxies as well. So that way you can edit, and it's going to be of high quality of something like that. If you're doing 4K UHD, you can write that onto one of the SD cards, and I'll show you kind of how that works right here. And you can also do full HD video, 1080p at 120 or 100 frames per second. If you really want to overcrank it, do slow-mo. The cool thing is Canon also said that they are going to be allowing XF-AVC recording for MP4 down the line with a firmware update. But as it keeps going down, they do a great job of breaking down. If you're shooting the CFast, that's how you get your DCI. But if you want to get up to 60 frames per second, you can record on the SD card. You'll be fine. 1080p, 120 frames per second. The Cinema RAW Lite is what's interesting, though, is that it's going to record at a little bit of a smaller sampling, and you're going to still have a flat image. It's going to be raw, but it's not going to take up as much space. They're going to be a little bit more manageable files, which I know files like this could be really large, but do you want to cut that down a little bit? I don't know, but you could really kind of go from there. But this is the full reduction. This is a full DCI 4K play at this point, and for $8,000, that's a pretty damn good deal. Now, some might make the argument as, why don't you get maybe a bit more with the DCI 4K? I just don't know if a camera can handle that with something like this. And once again, just to further the other illustration, while you're shooting 4K video, you can do this 2K proxy generation, and you can go from there and you can edit. So that way you don't have to, import the 4K footage. You can use the 2K, or you can do whatever you want to do. as you're going along. This is also the other interesting part, really, before I kind of wrap it up, is the C-Log format. So you can do internally C-Log and then C-Log 3, which gives you that 13 stops of dynamic range. But on the more raw workflow, which you can export out and everything like that, you can use that Cinema Raw Lite and then also do C-Log 2 files with 15 stops. So whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. I don't know if I like the Cinema Raw Lite option, but, you know, so be it. You can go from there. But really, that is the main things you really need to know about the Canon C200. I'll link both of these videos down below, and that way you can, you can judge and go through yourself and everything like that. I'm sure that there's going to be more or less firm, updates for like Adobe Premiere Pro and everything, but you can pretty much edit this and get this on the go. Pre-orders will start June 5th of 2017, but once again, the C200 is $7,500 and the 200B is $5,999, and you're essentially going with there. Once again, this is EF mount only, so you can use a whole slew of options of lenses and everything, and you can really just have some fun, enjoy it, and I'm sure it's going to be cool. This is a cool camera, but it's $8,000 essentially. So what would you want to go? And that's assuming you have no lenses, but it's interesting because a lot of this stuff might make its way back down into DSLR type stuff, and that's what I think is going to be a very interesting option going forward. So that's really it. That's the Canon C200. If you're a video person, this is actually very exciting for you, especially with all the options. I love that it has a CFast card on it with, SD card options. I guess it's cool because you do a lot of stuff with it. SD cards are more affordable, but the CFast is definitely the way the industry should be moving, and not a lot of people are. So that's it. That is your Canon C200, and you can pre-order it pretty much anywhere you want. That's your Canon C200. Any questions or comments, leave this down below. Do you feel like any of this stuff, because I know a lot of you are photographers or videographers who use DSLRs, will make its way into that a similar light camera for under, $3,000 in a DSLR line? Let me know. But I'll tell you what, Canon loves to protect their cinema line.